in the world of clicks and views. We got the tricks, ain't got time to lose. Christina and Joe dropping knowledge non-stop for all you realtors. Climbing to the top. Grab your camera, let's make the tape. Content gold, no time to waste. From open house to renovation glory, YouTube secrets unfold your story. Build those leads with every post. Christina and Joe, the ultimate hosts. Market trends and virtual tours. Turn those watchers into door knocking scores. Lights, camera, action, go live. Tips and tricks to help you thrive. Thumbnail magic, title spice. A clickbait charm, but a touch of nice. SEO game on point and tight. Comments buzz.
Hello, everybody. How are you? I hope you're having a fantastic Thursday. Today, we're going to be talking about CTR. Somebody posted in the group recently that they were looking at their CTR and they wanted to know why it was that they were gotten more views, but their CTR was low. So we're gonna be looking at some thumbnails. If anybody wants to contribute and add some thumbnails, just let me know. Just put in that post on Facebook and we'll put it in there and we'll look over your thumbnails. There are some like little tricks that you guys can do just to boost them up a little bit. What people don't understand a lot of times, sometimes you need to make a huge change on your thumbnails. And like, because the whole theme of your thumbnail doesn't match what the whole title of your video is. And you can change out your thumbnail as many times as you want to. That's another misconception. A lot of people are like, well, I mean, it's only been out there for, a day or two. I want to give it time to go into the algorithm. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you normally get 100 views during the first 2 days and you only got 30 or 14, change out your freaking thumbnail. Daryl always says, before you even touch that title, make sure you change out your thumbnail first. And whenever you're changing out that thumbnail, he says minor tweaks. You want to do minor tweaks, not huge changes in the thumbnail, especially if you've researched what's working on YouTube today as far as thumbnails are concerned. So like whenever I'm changing out a thumbnail or do I have backup thumbnails, I usually have about 5 backup thumbnails, and maybe it'll be like the color of the font I change, or I'll flip my image from, to the right to the left. Maybe I'm doing something as simple as making my personal image bigger so that my face is even bigger on the thumbnail itself. Sometimes it's just adding a drop shadow behind myself. Sometimes it's saturating the colors in your thumbnail. It could be that you have all the elements that work, but it's not really popping. So you need to add more saturation into the colors. Another thing that people do is the sharpness and the clarity of their images will kill a video. If that sharpness and clarity looks fuzzy, that it does not look good. Does not look good. I'm not talking about the Gaussian blur. That's an effect that you want to add. I'm talking about the actual look of the thumbnail itself. If you guys have any questions during this time, you can ask them in the chat at any time. Joe, my partner, is going to be here soon. He's running late. So you guys can give him a little scolding altogether. We do have some channel reviews that are going to be a little bit later on, but first let's talk about some thumbnails. So first I'm going to pull up my own personal thumbnails, because I want you to see, to know how to do them is an art. I'm not going to lie. And I know that a lot of us depend on, like outside designers, but the problem with trying to depend on outside help is if you don't understand what is working on YouTube, it's not going to really work. So like you can hire somebody from Fiverr to make you a thumbnail, but what will happen is that if you don't know what works on YouTube today or what elements you need, you end up with a very generic looking thumbnail. It's usually got some bright red background or yellow background, like a simple background. Then it has a bunch of words on it, in very almost explosive like writing. It usually has too many words. And then like your facial expression is like you all excited, and then you're talking about the housing crash, then that doesn't work. In order for a thumbnail editor to work best for you, is for you to give them examples or at least sketches of what you want prior to them actually making the thumbnail, because they're only going off of what they know. You have to train your editor. It doesn't matter if it's a thumbnail or it's a your video edit itself. You have to train them in order for you to get the product that you want for your channel. You know, you can't just blindly say, "Hey, or do this for me," and expect to have magic happen. It's a collaborative effort. And the more you collaborate with those entities, the better success you're going to have. All right, let's I want to show you some of my oldest thumbnails. All right, let me do a little share screen. Share the screen. I'm in an editor called PicMonkey. I've had this thing forever. So I'm going to scroll all the way down. Oh, let's see. I mean, these are still not when I first started. Oh, hold on. Oh, here we go. Here, this is it. This is when I first started. These were the thumbnails I made. This is a very PicMonkey, not PicMonkey. What is it? Fiverr-esque, you know, the bright background with the trim on it with a bunch of words. That's what my thumbnails used to look like. And I thought, man, did I think I was doing something good. I thought I was the Bob.com, but I'll give myself a little bit of grace. At that time, not many real estate agents were on YouTube, and these weren't that bad for the time period. They were bad. Don't get me wrong. They were pretty bad. But I've seen worse over the years, that's for sure. So I had this very specific template. I still see this to this day, not this one exactly, but to this day, people use this template and they kind of do the same kind of thing. This is wrong. Don't do this. The point of a thumbnail is basically to give the concept of what the video is about while you visualize it. Like, you already know what the video title is going to be because you saw the image of the title. It encapsulates the whole theme of your entire video in that one image. Think about it like how like the National Enquirer or any of those rag magazines, People even. And in order for them to sell more magazines, they use very sensational pictures. Do you remember years ago, Britney Spears was getting out of the car and she was not wearing undergarments? And what did they do? They put that where she's pulling down her skirt and they put a big giant X and they wrote, "Oh no," at the top. You know, that got people's attention. Now, of course, that's not something we're going to be doing in our thumbnails, but that's the idea. You already knew what that story was going to be about before you even looked at the title. You saw that and you're like, "Oh, for goodness sakes, what did she do this time? Why would she do that?" You already knew what the story was going to be about just by looking at the image. That's what a thumbnail should be. And I was very misinformed at the beginning because I had a branding coach that would tell me about thumbnails. and she told me that I needed to have all this pink to get my brand out there. Incorrect. I kept working on them though. I mean, every time I kept trying to get a little bit better, but I learned very quickly to make them simple. Like all these older ones, they're okay, but they're not simple enough. There's too much going on them. There's too many words. It never told a story. It was contradicting itself. So it wasn't until I learned to make those images simple for the eye to read, but still told the story of what the video was about. And it takes a long time to train yourself to do that. Once you do that, once you figure that out, thumbnails become a lot easier for you. Like this one, this one wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. And it was about a rotating house. The video did terrible, by the way. This is when I really didn't understand my avatar or my niche, but I was doing this stuff about weird houses. Yeah, did not work. I don't know what's going on with my mouth there. Oh, I know what it was. I had Botox. I put Botox on my mouth. All right, so let's look at some ones today. So I've improved on that, right? So let me show you some things that I did right in this particular thumbnail. All right, the ease of the eye to tell you what it's about. First of all, you know that's a real estate sign. It's a simple real estate sign, and it says coming soon foreclosures. Those words are very captivating. And then my facial expression is in a look of like, oh no, like, ooh, that's terrible. I used colors that were dark because I wanted it to express the theme of what that live stream was going to be about. And that way there was clarity to what they were going to get as soon as they started watching the live stream itself. A thing that I've noticed over the last year or so is that the image of yourself should be bigger than you think. So back in the day when we first started, we would do it kind of like this. We would make that image almost like this, almost where we kind of fit on the screen, kind of like that. Well, over time, that has changed. People want to see your face. They want to be able to see the whites of your eyes when you are looking at them on their TV. So you got to remember, a lot of people, if you look at your analytics, are watching on television. And just like Netflix and all those other channels, those thumbnails pop up. So the bigger your image, the more they can see your face, the more they can see your facial expression, the better off you're going to be. And so that's why I now make my image almost ridiculous. And I don't have a problem if I cut off the top of my head either. Some people say, oh, the top of your head's cut off. It doesn't matter. Not when you're doing these kinds of images. All right, let me take the snap off. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, I said that this is the program I use is PicMonkey. It's really simple to use. So, by the way, I got this sign because it's hard to make these signs yourself. I use AI on this particular sign, and that is the only thing I used for AI is the actual sign itself, because I just couldn't find one that said coming soon foreclosures on it. So I made the sign with AI. The fire is those are elements that I have, and then the background I also made that with AI, but that was a different AI. And don't depend on AI to create your images. I can tell immediately, like, oh my God, that was made with AI. But if you layer those images, it looks a lot less like, oh, AI created that. So just FYI. All right. Oh, hi, Joe.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing. I was just showing them my image. Man, I didn't realize how small it was. It wasn't that small earlier, was it? Nah.
I don't know. When I got on, it looked like that, but maybe it's because you were adjusting some stuff.
Yeah, I was adjusting some stuff. But yeah, that's how big my noggin is.
Make it bigger.
Yeah, I always tell them, make your noggin bigger than you think. You got to make it bigger than you think. So I wanted people to drop their thumbnails into the group, but nobody did. But we can, whenever we go over the channel reviews,
Yeah,
we can pull up some of their thumbnails, and then we could do some things to improve them. That way that they know what they're looking at. Because a lot of times you just don't even know how to make it better. And nothing's worse than when you get a bunch of advice from people that they don't know what they're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah. We used to do a thumbnail Thursday, but people stopped putting their thumbnails in there. So I was like, ugh. Maybe we should bring that back. What do you think, Joe?
I think that's a good idea. I mean, that's how important thumbnails are, right?
Well, they're the windows to the soul of your video.
That's right.
Just came up with that, man. I'm
right
a genius.
Right off the top of your head. Hey, I put in that chat some of the links for those channel reviews. So when we get to that point, you'll have them.
Yep. I was just saying.
I'm a little late too.
That's all right.
Hurry. I'll get 50 lashings with a wet noodle.
That's what I wrote. 50 lashes. I had a teacher that used to tell me that anytime I was late, 50 lashes with a wet noodle.
Yeah.
So I wanted, or am I still sharing?
Yes, you are. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I wanted to share another little tip for everybody. So I put my thumbnails in categories, just like I would my playlists in categories, right? So you would have like a buyer's playlist, relocation playlist, you would have those playlists, but the thumbnails I keep in that same folder. So that way I can use some of the elements, especially when I have like a top performing video. So like I have this affordable housing playlist, right? And then I have the different images I've used over time. So that way I know what works, like Jerome, good
Yep.
old Jerome. I
Good
have
old
him,
Jerome.
good old Jerome with his
Laser beams.
yeah, laser beams out of eyeballs work. And I've kept them in the same folder the whole entire time, because I've learned that on that particular one, it was when I'm in the center of the thumbnail. So I kept putting myself in the center. So that way I reminded myself, oh, what did we do last time? How did we make it work? And then I keep them in that. Another one was the American Dream. So again, it's always the sign, the sign, and then me with this kind of like, oh, well, let's talk about it,
Yeah, and sometimes you're just flip-flopping, like on one side or the other, and
Exactly. So it's good to keep them all together. This was another one, but this I want to show. Explains how many variations, especially when I know it's going to be a good video. This one video has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 different thumbnails, different creations of the same exact thumbnail. Wild, huh?
Yeah, and why? So let's talk about that for a minute. Why do you do that? What's the purpose behind that?
Well, the thing is I'm trying to get the best CTR I can, right? So to give
Yep.
CPR to your CTR,
Mhm.
when a video is bombing, you want to try to come up with different ways to get the people's attention. Do you need to change your image? Do you need to make it more colorful? Do you need to add a banner? Do you need to, how can you tell that story even better to grab more of their attention?
Right.
So I do like little things. Like I had they were just slightly different. Each one of these, the words might be different. The coloring might be different. The angle of the house is a little bit different. Maybe I'm not in the picture.
Yeah. So a lot of when you're designing, I think that maybe you went over this because we were talking about before I got on, but how important pre-planning your thumbnails are. So if you actually have your thumbnail planned out before you actually create your content's actually going to fall in line a lot better because you already have an idea of what you're going to be building with your thumbnail.
100%. I like, so I'm doing an Amazon video. I've recorded it, but I did this particular thumbnail 2 weeks ago, because I wanted, like this, I knew I was going to talk about this house first. I knew it was under $35,000. I knew it would grab people's attention. Not only that, I went off the success of videos that I did in this same exact playlist beforehand. So I'm not changing anything. And a lot of people that are in branding will say you have to have your face on this thumbnail. But because I learned that my face shouldn't be on these particular thumbnails. Not at all. Like it does bad. But once I just show the house, a cool looking house that's under $40,000 on the thumbnail, that's going to grab people's attention. They're going to click on that.
Yeah. So with the click-through rate, like how important is the relationship between the thumbnail and the title?
Well, it's literally what, if you have a winning combination, if you have a really good click-through rate, your title has obviously told the story enough of the thumbnail that they're complementing each other, that people are willing to click on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's super important. So you have to spend just as much time on a good title as you do the thumbnail, because it's a combination of things, right? Like it's not just the thumbnail, it's the title as well. But the thumbnail is the very first thing that they notice.
Right. But I think of the title first because I'm trying to imagine how that thumbnail will work, right?
How to design the thumbnail, right?
So I'll have like a whole list of, things that I've looked at over time, and I'll write these titles down. And then when it comes time for me to film something that week, I'm like, okay, can I make a thumbnail for this? can I make a thumbnail for this that's interesting? You know, the
Right.
title seems pretty good. I think people should know this stuff. But if I can't make a good thumbnail for it, very rarely do I make it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do because I'm just like, I'm going to do this for me.
Yeah.
And then
Mm.
all of a sudden it does like crap, you know?
Yeah.
It does crap.
But so it really is, I mean, it really is important enough that you spend the time planning it out. And I think that's the thing that, especially people that have, even if you've been on YouTube a long time or you've just started and you're not gaining traction, it's a lot of it is probably going to go to how well are you planning out your videos and how well are you planning out your titles so that you can then design a good thumbnail. And if you can't, like what you just said, if you can't come up with a good thumbnail, and the thumbnail really should be something that in a glance, in a second, they should know what that video is about. And if they
Mhm.
don't, then your video's not, you're not going to get that message across. And then that title just reinforces what your thumbnail is. And so
Well,
it is
mo
important.
most people don't take that time. And
They
I know that
don't.
like for real estate agents, I know that you're thinking, well, I don't have time for that. I have to sell houses. I'm doing contracts. I got to do all this other stuff. You can pre-plan your titles ahead of time. Like as you're scrolling through YouTube or you know, you hear something even on TikTok, you're like, you know what, that probably make a good video. Have in your notes app, you know, video ideas and put them in there. Just, you know, like you could be on the bus somewhere or on a call or whatever, and you come up with a title idea. Just have a little tab that's open for video title ideas and you just stick it in there. And sure enough, the day that you're like, oh crap, what the hell am I going to film? You're like, oh, wait, I got the ideas.
Yeah.
It will jog your memory again. And then you can start all over. I actually need to start doing that again. I've been slacking.
Mm.
So I need to do that. It's a good thing to have, especially when you're at a week of like pure nauseum of like people calling you and bothering you. Like, I don't have time to think about a video. Well,
Yeah.
then you have this idea list full of ideas that you can pull from.
Yeah.
TikTok's really good for that, by the way.
What's that?
TikTok is really good for
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah, it is. It's
Mhm.
great. It's great for ideation for sure.
Ideation. Yeah. Really good for hooks.
Yeah. Great
Really.
for that. If you, yeah, that's one thing that if you, like in uh, combining all of the things that we're talking about, that
Mhm.
gains all of those things. So having a good thumbnail, having a good title, and then having a great hook is going to set you apart and set you to where your channel can grow. I think a lot of agents, their goal is I just got to get a video out,
Mhm.
but they're not like thinking about like what that video can do for them. It's more of like it's a chore of like I got to get it out because I got to get the video out. I told them I'd do this listing video, or I said I'd educate my, my people, but it's really more for me to put in a newsletter and then I'm sending it out to all these people, which is fine. But there's so much more opportunity if you leverage YouTube the way that we teach you guys. And that's like, even in these live streams, there's things that you can incorporate that we're teaching that if you do, you'll see massive growth.
Yeah. Well, this thing about thumbnails is
It's
this is good
huge.
stuff. This is good
It's
stuff.
huge.
And I used to like, especially if you're new to this and you've been like, you're like, how can that image even make a big difference? And I've told this story several times, but I was given a channel review years ago on Nick Nimmons live stream on a
Mhm.
Sunday. I paid for that, like, $10, $20, whatever. And he did a whole like channel review. And he's like, well, you really need to work on your thumbnails. I'm like, oh, well, he doesn't understand my niche. My thumbnails are way better because I had improved so much over that period of time. I'm like, I just thought he was being snarky. I'm like, how much can that stupid image be? I remember saying that out loud. And then once I once I went and like found out what the thumbnails were, I'm like, they were embarrassing. I was so embarrassed on what.
But it wasn't, I mean, but everything is progression, right? So like
Right.
you had learned and you self-taught like yourself how to do all of these things. And
Yeah.
so there's learning how to use PicMonkey is one thing, but learning how to design a good thumbnail is another thing. So you can know how to edit an image, but that doesn't mean it's going to be good just because Like, I think a lot of new designers, or people that are getting into design, they try to cram as much information as they can into a thumbnail instead of realizing that, like, less is more. Like, you don't need to put
Simplify.
so much stuff in it, but it's like, oh, I can do this drop shadow and I can do this outline and I can have this color and that color. And then when you get done, you're like, that's great. But it's because you're so focused in on it that you're missing, like, asking someone to say, if you saw this in 2 seconds, could you tell me what the video would be about?
Right. And the other thing too is that people are really in love with their personal logo.
Yeah.
And like, don't do that. Like, honest to God, please do not do that. Don't put a logo on your thumbnail. And then years ago, I don't see this as much anymore, but I used to see that people would put their brokerage's logo on their thumbnails because the broker required it. I don't see that as much anymore, but you like this. So then they would have their personal logo and then they have their brokerage logo. That has nothing to do with the video itself. And nobody on here, no real estate agent that I know of is that popular that they need to have their own personal logo on their thumbnails. Stop it. It doesn't mean anything. Oh, and you know what? While I was thinking about this, sometimes you'll have a good thumbnail and somebody in your market might actually copy your thumbnail.
Yeah.
And in the grant, and before you get your snotty rag all wadded up and just so mad, it doesn't matter. There's no original ideas when it comes to these thumbnails. Let's just put it that way. Your competitor that stole that from you, they probably stole.
They got an idea from somebody else.
Yeah, always. It's always like that. Yep. Very rarely do you see originality on the old YouTubes.
Yeah, and
even your top real estate agents, top YouTubers got the idea from somebody else and improved on that idea.
100%.
So if you feel like they ripped you off, that's fine. I even have ones, this is no joke, somebody actually just cut out my personal image and laid their personal image right on it. It was the exact, they just screenshot it, cut me out and put themselves on it and used it, which I thought was hysterical. So then of course I put in their comment section, nice thumbnail. This was years ago. But I mean, who cares? I mean, honestly.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I think that's the problem, is a lot of people think, well, it's my idea. I'm the one that did it. I came up with it. Like, you should be flattered. If someone's copying that, like, great, good job. Who cares? The only thing I would say is if they're blatantly ripping off everything and uploading your stuff, that's different. But if they're taking an idea that you had and they're building on it with their own images, who cares? Move on. It happens all the time in YouTube. And it's not just in real estate. It's like all of YouTube. So
I've seen somebody's ego get so chapped, so bruised by the whole thing. They're like, well, fine, I'll change the thumbnail and the they had over like 167,000 views, right? And they were so mad that somebody like did a version of their thumbnail and title, right? They were so mad. They changed their thumbnail and they changed their title
to their own detriment.
The video after that never got over. Like, I think it's now, maybe it got 10,000 views more than that after that, because they screwed it up. They messed up the whole reason why it had velocity in the first place, which was the thumbnail and the title. Like, your ego needs to get in check if you get all burned up about something like that.
Yeah. If anything, like, it's actually going to help you get more views, especially if someone else is doing something similar, because they build upon each other, not take away.
David says good art is copied, great art is stolen.
Yep.
He got a little yep. Joe says he's saying hello to his friends. Oh my God, we have Duel of Omaha agents. It's a showdown in the chat. Yep. I literally hope someone copies my stuff. Yeah, me too. That's what I felt like I made it.
You're like,
oh my God.
Finally, I've made it. They're copying me.
I just need to learn to relax and have, if you have a huge ego, you need to learn to relax. I think everybody's wound up a little tighter these days.
Yeah.
Everybody feels like they're under attack. So we have a little knee jerk reaction. Like,
But
people are
really what it comes down
edgy.
to is it's not taking away from anything from you.
Mhm.
It's literally adding, and honestly, if someone did copy and you have momentum, theirs is going to get to momentum and it'll bring your video up with it. So
Yes. Yes.
so
And
it's
like,
not a bad thing.
right. And so, like, if you have other agents in your area that do video and they happen to have really good thumbnails, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, I really like to ask their help, but they're competition. They're not competition, they're
Mm-mm.
collaborators. And everybody, and this is true, you can, like, Joe will tell you the same thing. Everybody we know that has successful channels are actually friends with the other successful channels, and they work together to get even more successful. They'll do it. They know that they're going to do a video. Let's just say they're in the DIY niche. They're going to do a video for Valentine's Day. They all talk to each other. They're like, okay, we're going to do this one for Valentine's Day. I was going to do, stuff about your dresser. I was going to do one for the bed. And then they're like, okay, well, I'll tell people because, now that I got the dresser done, I'll send them over to you for the bed. And
Yep.
then somebody says, oh, well, I'm going to do the nightstand. And then somebody else says, well, I'll do the curtains. And so then they all work together like, oh, okay. Like
And
all of this can tie
everybody
together.
raises up from that. They
Yeah.
all
And then
get,
it lifts everybody else up. And
yep.
then people that you wouldn't have ever connected with ends up saying, oh my gosh, I've never seen her channel before, but I've been on this channel for years. I'd love to go over there. You're not hurting yourself by inviting them to see other channels.
No.
That's not how this works. You can't have that scarcity mindset, because once you do, then you're going to be trapped in a little box and you're going
And
to, like,
you'll
feel like
change your
everybody.
thumbnail and your title and it will ruin
Yep.
the algorithm. You have to be open to collaborating. And what's awesome is because you have this relationship where you can collaborate with other agents, you can refer to them when you get leads.
100%. 100%. So smart minds come together. Yep. That's what happens. Yeah.
It's true.
That's what in our course we always, that, like, I'm a real stickler for that. If anybody's sitting there like in their back corner, like hoarding all the nuts, the acorns, in the back, like, no, this is my information. Get out of here.
Yep.
I can't handle it. I'm afraid somebody in the group might copy me. Stop it. Mm-mm.
Or you might
Nope.
learn something from them and
Mhm.
they add on to it.
Yep. Yep. It only can get bigger and better when you work together.
Yep.
Did that almost rhyme?
I like that. That was
That was-
that's
it
pretty
only
good.
gets bigger and better if we work together.
It's so true though. Like there really is, you have more of like that synergy, and I hate using that word, but it's so true. Like it's one of those things that you rise up because of that. And YouTube recognizes that when there's good content being created, it's going to push similar content. So that's why it's like, hey, let's work together. And even cross audiences can be exposed to your channel that maybe would never have seen your channel had you not done a collaboration with another person.
Joe said the group is where I learned about laser beam eyes. Yeah. So in our group that Joe and I have, it's a private group off of Facebook. We talk about things that you may not even know that is like a trending meme or trending in that specific niche. So in the finance niche, people always like to put laser beam eyes in Jerome Powell's face. Like, I don't know why that's a thing. It was all over Twitter. It's been
Everywhere.
all over, and it's been around now since Jerome Powell's been around. So every once in a blue moon, if you ever do a video about the Fed, you put the laser beam eyes. So Joe was going to do that. He had a picture. I'm like, oh, have a backup picture, have a backup thumbnail with the laser beam eyes. And he's like, okay.
Like, that's weird, but okay.
Yeah, he was like, oh, all right, whatever. But you'll learn, especially when you really get into your niche and understanding your avatar, you'll understand certain what is it? What do they call that? The trends. It isn't just the trends, but it's like the social things that you wouldn't know unless you're in that group of people. right? There's
Yeah.
certain words like that people that are in finance use when they're talking about crypto that I don't even know what the hell
It's
they're
like their
saying.
jargon.
Yeah, their own jargon, their own
Yeah.
verbiage, their own sense of humor that only they get. So then
Yep.
when you start adding those pieces into your not only your content but into your thumbnails, they're gonna be like, oh, this guy gets it, you know?
Yeah. I like him because he thinks how I think.
Right, exactly. So when you're doing that in your thumbnails and you're connecting with an audience that way, you're connecting with more people that are just like that. So anyways, yeah. So let's look at some thumbnails for two channels that we have today. We have two that we're going to be reviewing. One of them is living in Asheville, and the other one's realtor moms living in North Atlanta suburbs. Okay. Let's share. Let's present the first one. We're going to do a little screen share. Which one you want to start with? The Atlanta one or the Asheville one?
Whichever one you want.
Since I'm a former Atlanta suburb girl.
Let's check it out.
All right, let's make this whole screen come through. Oops, no, not that one. No, I want to make the whole thing. There we go.
There
so that
it
way
is.
you can see it. Yeah. Okay. So we got realtor moms, North Atlanta, call or text. The we're not going to do any of this normal stuff. Well, let's just focus on their thumbnails today. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I think that's great.
All right. So this is their newest thumbnails. I ranked North Atlanta's best and worst neighborhoods. How would you improve that? I already have an idea.
It's super busy.
It's too busy, first off. Yep. You can't see anything.
Like I would have, like, if you were going to do it, put yourself in the middle and split the best and the worst.
Yep.
And so almost like like three graphics, the person in the middle, and then bad, good, have like bad with like kind of like darker, not stuff, and then like the good really vibrant and everything. I would just get rid of the S, A, B, C, D.
I don't even know what that
I don't know
means.
what that is. So, and then I know we're just talking about title or thumbnails, but I would change and make it more, instead of I ranked, I would just say North Atlanta's best and worst neighborhoods, or avoid these neighborhoods, best and worst, or something that's a little bit more engaging. But the thumbnail, I love her picture. Like, her picture is very clear.
Very clear.
It looks great.
You can see the whites of her eyes.
Yep. That is no problem. I actually really like the font Where to Live.
But I'd say move here.
Yep, exactly. It's just the wrong thing.
Instead of making a question, you make a statement.
Yep. So, if they're designing them or they're having them designed, they're really close. They just need to, like, they're not really focused on, like, that doesn't follow the rule of thirds at all. And so that's why it looks a little discombobulated.
Yeah. And the smaller images, like, some people that were looking on this phone, they would not even know what those smaller pictures were.
Yeah.
It would just look like confetti almost.
When making the thumbnail, again, it goes back to, like, at a glance, what's the, like, her other one, don't buy a home, like, that's way more clear.
Yes.
One on you know what I mean? Like, that
but
one,
I would make her image bigger though.
Yeah, she's too small for sure. She needs to take up, like, her chin should almost be at the bottom of the thumbnail, so her whole head. But I'm just saying, like, that one is at least a lot more clear. This other one, it's just a little too busy for me. What would you do?
Yeah, I would do a side by side. I throw her in the center, and I would have move here, or yes, no, or
a check mark or an X,
or the best on one side, worst on the other side, and then have like two neighborhoods behind that, and then be like kind of like giving the little like
yeah, like a confused look.
Yeah.
Right? Or like a
yeah, I would have a split, and then I would have like best in green font, worst in red font with a drop shadow and an outline on it. And I would have her dead center.
Yeah.
Center. And then that's it. Like, I wouldn't even have move to or nothing. Like, I would just have best, worst
Yeah. Because it's already it's in like
implied
you're already implying that.
on the thumbnail in the title too. So yeah, I just simplify the heck out of it. So the next thumbnail she has is the ultimate guide to North Atlanta. So I would be like something more interesting, because to me this is a pretty boring title.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, what no one ever tells you about moving to North Atlanta, right?
Yep.
And then you could still give your guide information, right?
Yep.
But it makes it more exciting than just, because to me this reads like stereo instructions.
Yeah,
You know?
you need more, like as Christina says, the titles need to be juicy. Like
Yeah.
you need that, and then like the thumbnail, same thing. It's like you said, stereo instructions. It's like almost like it's a like I get what they're trying to do, and it actually is like it makes sense that it kind of looks like a guide the way that the thumbnail is, but that's not like it doesn't make me want to click on it.
Yeah. It would even make me want to click not even like if it was on a brochure, I wouldn't even want to pick it up, because it's like, ugh.
It's like,
But
okay, like I don't need, reading material like that. So I guess what we're saying is to make it more enticing. And we're not telling you, like, I think a lot of people think, well, it's clickbait. If you tell them this and then you don't do it, then you're just doing clickbait. And the thing is, yes, we're teaching you like how to do clickbait correctly.
Yes.
Like,
You
clickbait is
want
not
them
a
to
bad
click.
thing.
You need them to click.
You want them to click on it, but what you're
click on it.
yeah, exactly. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to create something for them that, would be like, okay, what could another thing for ultimate guide moving to North Atlanta, not talking about the title, but let's talk about the thumbnail. What could we put on there, Christina, to make that more enticing?
So I would have a map, like if it was me, I would have her image much bigger where her face would take up most of the thumbnail, right? I would have a map that of North Atlanta, and then I would have the word no with an X on anywhere in North Atlanta with a no exclamation point where the X is, and then the arrow pointing to that X.
Perfect. And the reason why is because that negative thing creates curiosity. What do you mean no? Why?
I live there. What is she talking
Yeah,
about?
why are they saying no? That's not good,
Yeah.
or whatever. And then you follow up with your hook about why, why you think these areas or whatever, but you include that so that they don't leave after they click on it, because you're reinforcing what you did for the title and thumbnail.
I concur.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say her images are very, very, can you scroll down a little bit? They're really, really clear. Like,
Yeah.
the design. I love how the coloring and everything, they're like almost there. They're just missing a little teeny bit.
Yep. And even this one right here, like this was a great thumbnail. But I would make her image like she like
Way
that.
bigger.
Her hands, the bottom of your hand should be at the bottom of that thumbnail. That's how big your face needs to be, because your reaction is what's going to be enticing to the thumbnail image itself.
Yep. I concur.
Yep.
I would, if and this is more of a nitpicky thing, but I would make the fire, I would make it a lot more blown out in red and orange, so it's contrasting even more than it is.
Yeah, saturate the
colors.
The colors, and then maybe even change her shirt color. So it contrasts. So like maybe a white shirt or a lemon yellow shirt, something like that.
That's just totally like, so it will stop the scroll.
Yeah, so because it would contrast with this darker quite a bit. Yep.
Her face just needs to be bigger on all of them. They're way too small.
Way too small. Way too small. Like this is good right here.
Yeah, look at the view. Look at the views too, though.
Yeah. Look how big the image is. On this one, I would just clarify I would work on the clarity of his face, and then I'd still make him a little bit bigger, and I move him to the left.
A little bit, just so his ears like touching the side of the screen.
Yep. But I mean, this is
That's a good
this
thumbnail.
is very simplified. You know exactly what's going on here. Very simplified.
The next one too is a good thumbnail.
Yes, this is a great thumbnail. No HOA.
Yep.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
Yep. I concur, Joey's. I concur. Yeah.
Go to her. Are we at her? Let's do her. Are we doing her latest? But what about her highest viewed?
Let's look at her most viewed. All right, let's do the most popular. Popular. See, look at how simplified that one is. Simple, simple, simple.
And look,
6,000
right there.
views.
What did we say about a map? And
Yep.
so you're doing locations.
Yep. Yep.
So one thing, if you're gonna have like the name, you don't need the Atlanta, Georgia on the thumbnail. They already know where it's at. If you're gonna have it in the title, if you just had wealthiest neighborhoods, and I would even just take yourself completely off of that one.
Yeah. Test it without your image. Yep. And then instead of saying wealthiest neighborhoods, because it says it in the title, just put like $10 million or or $60 million or behind the image of the mansion behind you, because people just want to see the houses.
So she really has like a good, like, it looks like she's
close.
got a lot of relocation. Look at that thumbnail, the very first one that has the most views of 6K. Like, again, it's what we were talking about is don't move here. You've got check, check, and then don't move here and a red. It's so like, it's like, well, why? You're creating that curiosity, and you like that. Those types of thumbnails are working for you. You should be making more like that.
Yep. Yep. This one's good too. Just too many words.
Yeah. Just simplify it a little.
Yep. These are pretty good though.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, how old is it? What's her oldest video? God, they haven't even been doing this for a year.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're well on your way. Look at this one. Yeah, you're well on your way.
Yeah, you're just
man. I wish I was like this after 8 months. Damn. Y'all are doing great. Y'all are doing great. You just need some small tweaks.
Yeah.
Small tweaks. Do you concur, Joe?
I concur. They're great. So definitely just need a couple little tweaks, but more than anything, work on the thumbnail and those titles.
Yep. All right, we got another one.
All right, let's look at it.
All right, let's share this tab instead.
All
right, we got the original Living in Asheville, North Carolina channel. Okay, I just have to say this because I know that you probably heard this somewhere. Just because the channel name says Asheville or Living in Asheville, that doesn't give you any kind of like SEO ranking or juice to your channel because you named your channel Living in blah, 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 blah. I know you probably heard that somewhere, or you went to a conference and the person standing up there said, "Oh, to get Google juice, blah, blah, blah." That's not the case. You could literally name your channel Peanut Butter and Jelly, and it still would your videos would still get found. The video is what creates the momentum to your channel, not the name of it. So if there's a bunch of different Living in Asheville, North Carolinas, and you have to put original, change the name. It's not going to hurt a thing.
Yeah, and then change your link. That's like an old way of getting people to subscribe to your channel. They don't need that anymore. That's like what you really should have on there is a link where they can reach out to you.
Same with their
or about.
your about section, instead of having this here, have it link to a some kind of form they can
Like
fill out where you
landing page
capture
or
their
a Calendly, somewhere where you can actually get information.
from them.
And then if you're going to update that, you might as well update your channel banner because people know how to subscribe.
Yep.
The sizing's a little off too.
Yeah. So you have this where it's kind of cut off right here and right here. So you want that to fill out the whole image. So if someone was to pull this up on their television, all of this would be filled in. Matter of fact, if it's on your television, it's all the way up here and all the way
Yeah, it goes
around.
way bigger than that. Yeah.
It was way bigger. So yeah, just like make the whole image go across the whole entire banner.
Put a QR code on there and have it go to a landing page where you can collect their information.
Yep. That's what I started doing, is putting a QR code right here that goes straight to that landing page. Okay. Let's look at the thumbnails. Let's look at them. All right, Joe, you go first.
Okay. Same thing. They're really, they're a little busy like the other one, but these ones, I'm going to pull up this just a little bit bigger here. So you've got like this outline, and I know that was a thing. Looks like you did it a day ago. Getting decent amount of views for it, but like the hashtag, no one can read that, so that's not really gonna. You can't like simplify. I would really focus on like having more vibrant thumbnails. It's kind of muted, and it kind of just goes into the background. And then you got too much text on the thumbnail.
The text is driving me crazy. You don't need that hashtag home tour Tuesday. If that is like your specific hashtag, don't put it on the thumbnail. Put it in your description of your video.
Yeah.
And use the hashtag symbol, so that way it will highlight blue and people can click on that and see all of
your videos. Yeah.
all your videos that are connected to that. All right, so discover the best of Asheville, North Carolina's countryside in this stunning. There's too many words even in your thumbnail.
As an owner of
I have to look. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Discover the best of Asheville, North Carolina's countryside in this stunning home tour. So I would say, if it was me, I would say inside this Asheville countryside home tour, inside this, whatever the price is, I would shorten that up.
Inside this X dollar, whatever the dollar amount is, tour.
Yeah. And the thing is, the other thing, I know that you probably heard that for SEO juice and for discoverability on search, you're going to have to put Asheville, North Carolina. You could even put Asheville, NC, or you could just put Asheville, because in your description, you're saying Asheville, North Carolina.
Is this a tour channel, or is she only doing tours?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Let me turn off the volume on this, and let's I'm waiting for this to skip and see what's going on here. La 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 la. Okay, now I can skip it. All right. No thanks. Okay.
River. Mills River, North Carolina is located.
Yeah, it's a home tour. It's a home tour.
Yeah. So with home tours, we've found, do you want to go back to the thumbnail for a minute? If you're doing tours, just do a picture of the house and then the price along the skyline. That's it. Move yourself out of it, move all that other text, and just and have that home like really close so you can see the windows, the lights. I know you're probably trying to show like farm living, but people they want to see what's in the house. So have the picture a lot bigger in that thumbnail.
I would also try to get this over 8 minutes.
Yep. So that one's a home tour, and then this one is a
this
like
looks like
educational.
But the title, you have it all lowercase. I would have each letter of each word uppercased.
Yep. And you could even have biggest fears in caps.
Biggest fears about moving to Asheville, and then put NC. Step inside this amazing. Well, this one's a pretty good title. step inside.
Yeah.
But again, this thumbnail, I would take yourself off of it, and I would have a bigger picture of the house with the price of it at the top. Because that's what works on YouTube.
Yeah. People like that.
Mm-hmm. This is close. You're close with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Just take off that Home Tour Tuesday. You don't need that on there.
Move the price up.
If she saturated this one, she needs to saturate it a little bit, and then
That'd be a good thumbnail.
Yeah, because that's a pretty house with the skyline and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Saturate the colors some and increase the sharpening and clarity. You can do that. You can do that on your phone.
Yeah. The blue should be really, really blue. Like you almost want to over exaggerate it because it will pop more if you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's kind of like a gray, like just like you won't believe this. It's the same thing on that thumbnail there too. It looks like it's, you know, it just looks gray instead of like a real blue color.
She gets some pretty consistent views.
Yeah.
I'm just looking to see. Look at that one.
Yeah.
Whoa, 628,000 in 4 months. Look how long your video is.
23 minutes, and then they're doing like an update of what happened with the hurricane.
Well, yeah, now you drew people in. So now I would like show some of the neighborhoods in the area that are still are available to people. Like neighborhoods that you can still move to.
Mm-hmm. Scroll down just a little bit. Yeah, see that blue right there it just pops a lot more.
Yep. You're almost there. You're getting close.
Yep, just some small tweaks.
Some of your older videos though, like that, even though this is not a great thumbnail, it got people's attention because of the color.
Mm-hmm. It pops. I mean, it's got so much color, it pops right off the screen. I think a lot of the thumbnails that she has are more muted, and either with the color or whatever, but using bolder colors that stand out, that makes it look. And on TVs, here's the other thing is, a lot of people are watching YouTube on TVs, and these screens, because they're using HDR, like if you have a really bright color, it's really going to come through bright. If it's muted, it's not going to look as good.
This lipstick color is like, that's your color for a thumbnail.
Yeah.
This pink.
It pops.
It pops really good. I would tell you to wear that. Whatever that color is, that's your color for thumbnails. And what I would tell you to do too is just take a bunch of photos at one day, like wear a black shirt and just take a bunch of thumbnail photos and keep them in a folder for when you design your thumbnails.
Yep.
Small tweaks, my friend. What do you think, Joey?
Yeah, that's great. Looks, a lot of really good content there. I think it's just like you're saying, a few little things here and there to really like build it up.
Mm-hmm. Remember the one with the no HOA? I like nail too.
Yeah.
He's like, wow. Wow. So,
that was good.
We go over thumbnails in our group every single week with our students, whether you've been a student of ours for like, 2 years, or you've been a student that is brand new. We are there for you. So if you're interested in being a part of our group, you can always join our course at, what is it?
realestatevideogeeks.com.
realestatevideogeeks.com. We're actually into our 3rd week with our newest group, but it will be ending in about 5 more weeks. So if you want to go ahead, you can sign up today. You could start today if you wanted to, but if you wanted to wait for that 5 weeks, we will be there. We will be there.
We got a good group this time. Every group, it just gets better and better.
Yeah. The ones that are in it to win it and actually listen are the ones that have been very successful. And I'm proud of our students. They're really good people. Joe said, should I modify any techniques for my live stream thumbnail versus a video? Also, have you guys noticed that about CTR when it comes to live versus recorded videos? Oh, both fantastic questions.
Yeah.
So as far as the design of my thumbnails for a live stream compared to a regular video. Some people will make a very basic thumbnail and they'll use the same live stream thumbnail, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. I do not do that. I treat my live streams just like I would treat a video. I come up with a title. If I can't come up with a good thumbnail, then I scrap that title, start all over again until I can come up with a good messaged thumbnail. And then I will do that. I treat it exactly the same. I even send my thumbnails over to Joe and say, hey, do you like this thumbnail? Which one's better? Which one do you like the background on? To this day, I still do that.
Yeah. And what's funny is I'll be like, I like this one. And she's like, yep, that's the one I'm going with.
Yeah, that was the one I like too, but you got to get a second opinion. Yeah. And then when it comes to CTR on live streams, I literally spend 0 seconds on how much CTR I have. I only am looking at it from the time that it's live. Yeah. Right. If I know like when it's live and I only have like a couple hundred people coming in, then I'll change the live stream. If it's up to 700, I'm looking at for next week what elements were in that thumbnail that got people to click. Most of the time it's the title though. Yep. It's the trending title of what's going on in real estate. Like I know that if I do a live stream about tariffs, it's going to get people all hot and bothered, man. Yeah. they
want to get in there and they're going to keyboard their yep. What they think.
They get so mad. So yeah, that I always treat it like a video. Every single thumbnail that goes out is treated like a thumbnail.
You really should do that anyways, because there are a lot of people that go back and watch the replay. So when you have those thumbnails designed out, they're going to be a lot more attractive than if it's just episode 200 and like a square of your logo. Like you want it you want to follow the same thing. If you're going to design, you're going to spend the time doing the live stream, you might as well make it enticing for them to click and watch it.
Yeah. Joe says, I need you guys to review my thumbnails and titles for his live streams. Those are harder for me since I don't have inspiration.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we can do that. Yep. Oh, that makes sense about the CTR. And he says, yeah, I've noticed anytime I put out a thumb smiling pic, I get good views. Oh, people like your choppers. And for the while there, I didn't put any image of myself because every time I put an image of myself on my live streams, it repelled views. It wasn't until I started getting an audience that once I started putting my face on it again, then it started working. So, yeah. It's testing. You got to test things out, especially on live streams, because every week that is always changing because what's happening in real estate is always changing. So, but we can discuss that further with our students today, because right after this is done, we're going to go meet with them next week. If you guys want a channel review, make sure you fill out the form that's in the Facebook group. So you can fill out that form, just click on the link, or if you want to email us, you can email us at info@realestatevideogeeks.com. So team. Oh, it's team. Thank you. Yes. I have too many damn emails.
I know we have too many, but we do respond to them. So if you do ask a question, we're happy to chat with you. And then, yes, we would love to do channel reviews. And if you find any of this stuff helpful, come watch our live streams, because we do it every week. Even if I am a little late, we still do it.
We still do it no matter what. So, all righty, buddy. Thanks so much. Watch our fantastic end screen. Don't ever do this on your own channel. We're just doing it on ours.
It's the end of the stream. Christina and Joe taught you all the tricks, make your leads grow. From thumbnails to tags, you gotta be bold. YouTube's the key, turn your listings to gold. Edit those vids, make them snappy, make them fly. Engage with your audience, connect, don't be shy. Realtor to the core, but tech on your side. Hit that algorithm like a digital tide. This is the final click, now you're in the know. Use YouTube to flourish, let them listings blow. It's the small details that bring in the dough. From Christina and Joe, here's the way to go. Every upload strategic so your views ain't stopping. Consistency's key, schedule that drop. Content's king, crown it at the top. So So you learn the ropes from two of the best, Christina and Joe. Put your skills to the test, turn those leads into clients, make your channel explode. Realtor success on the digital road. This is the final click, now you're in the